Welcome back everybody, MC here with another video, and today I want to show you guys how to get the Crimson Biome Key in Terraria. And this is going to take ages for you to get, so make sure you have a nice little setup and make sure you use battle potions and make sure you use water candles. And while we're sitting here waiting for the Biome Key to drop, we'll go over a few things. So I want to make it easy for you to know what to do, and that is you need to get the Crimson Biome Key from the Crimson Biome. You can get it anywhere, and you can get it from any enemy that drops coins in the Crimson Biome, which means it doesn't matter if it's, for example, mummies from the desert. You can get this item as long as you're in the Crimson Biome. It doesn't matter where you are. You can get it on the surface, you can get it on the ground, anywhere. So what I like to do is I like to set up a mob farm, and I like to set up the mob farm using crimson blocks. Now, if you're looking for any of the other equivalents, you just use the equivalent blocks. For example, if you want to make a hallowed biome for the key, for that key, then you make the same mob farm, but you make it out of pearlstone. You do the same thing if you want something from corruption. If you want to know how to make a mob farm, make sure you check out our video on how to set up an easy mob farm. They're very easy to set up. As you can see in front of you, it pretty much just has one way in, no way out, and the lava kills the enemies. One thing I would say is try to use an aggressive summon here. I'm using an item or a summon that it doesn't seem to be doing anything. It doesn't seem to be aggressive enough. So I'm going to switch over to the dragon, and if you're doing this kind of a little bit earlier game, because obviously I'm using late game items just for demonstration, then you probably should use something like the spider armor and the spider staff, simply because the spiders are super aggressive. You can use any other summon that's aggressive, as long as it'll go above and kill the enemies above you. Now, it took me about 2.5 hours of recording to get this damn key. So we're going to be here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the key, but at least you know how to get it now, and you can go off and do it. Maybe you can listen to this video while you're waiting for the damn thing to drop. If you are waiting 2.5 hours also, be patient. It will drop eventually. It has a very low drop rate. You will end up getting it as long as you're in a crimson area. I like to make my Crimson Biome farm in the desert. The reason why I do that is because not only will you get the Crimson Biome Key, you'll also get the Desert Biome Key, which I don't usually use, but at least it's good to have. But you can also get items for the Ankh Shield, for example, and you get those just by staying here. You get the megaphone and the blindfold, for example, and you can also farm vertebrae here. It's just like a really good place to farm everything at once, alongside waiting for the Crimson Biome Key. Now, what does the Crimson Biome Key do? I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you already know, but for anyone who doesn't, it opens up the Crimson chest in the dungeon, and inside that dungeon, you'll get the vampire knives, which is one of the coolest items in Terraria. So I highly recommend you do this. Also, if you have enough crimson blocks from making a crimson biome in a corruption world, you can still get the vampire knives in a corruption world. You just have to create a crimson biome, and I also have a video on that too, so you can have a look at that if you like, if you're stuck in a corruption biome. One thing that I just did there, and I'd recommend you do it regularly, is go from side to side. These items will despawn at some point. So if there's too many items on screen, you'll end up losing items that are slightly off the screen. And you don't want your key to be off the screen, and then you miss out on it because it despawns. So check regularly. I usually check once every day. So I suppose once every day and once every night. So at 7:30 p.m. in game, I check, and then around 4:30 in the morning time, I check as well, just to see if the key has dropped outside of the field of view that I have. And as I said, it can despawn, so check regularly. Now, you can just sit here and you will be safe. There's a few enemies that go through walls, so if you're early enough game, hopefully your summon will take care of you, and maybe keep an eye on it. But you can go and make maybe a cup of tea, maybe some lunch or something while you're waiting. You could be here for a few hours waiting for this damn key. The key can drop multiple times, but there's only one chest in the world. So you can only open this chest once per world. You have to drop to a different world if you want to open another one for your friends, or if you are playing, say, 4-player and you want 1 vampire knives. Don't forget, you can only open the chest after Plantera has been defeated, which is pity because I kind of like to have the vampire knives as early as possible, and only getting them after Plantera seems a little bit weak. But you can use the vampire knives against Golem, you can use it against the Martian Madness, you can use it against other bosses, and you can use it during events as well. The reason why the vampire knives are so good is they give you lifesteal, and they shoot very quickly too. So you're going to be spamming vampire knives constantly regaining HP as you shoot, and pretty much it turns you into a vampire. And it doesn't literally now, but it's just because of the lifesteal, you feel like a vampire. Let's just say that. I actually can't wait for the new Terraria update, where you're going to be able to play a seed where you do in fact become a vampire. And if you have the vampire knives, I really hope something unique happens. Some sort of unique combination between being a vampire and having the vampire knives. That would be awesome if that happens. We'll see if Terraria decide to do that. If you have any questions about any of this, make sure you ask. I've covered a lot of different things, but the most important thing is lots of patience, wait underneath your little mob farm, which you're going to be able to make easily, and eventually it will drop. Pick up as many items as you can along the way, and best thing about this is you're going to make a lot of money. One thing I forgot to mention is, as you can see, my dragon keeps going down, killing enemies underneath me. It's very hard to avoid that in Terraria, but if it's happening, it means some of your enemies are spawning underneath you. You can go down regularly and check to see if any of them have dropped the key, but it's not necessary. You can just wait. I mean, there's usually only 1 or 2 enemies down there at a time anyway, and at the end of the day, the most important thing is the enemies up here on the surface. And that lava, by the way, that you can see, make sure you keep the lava level nice and low. It won't get any higher in this biome anyway, so you're safe there. But the thing is, coins will be destroyed if your lava is too high. So at the end of the day, you don't want that to happen. Oh, and there we go. We have the Crimson Key finally. As I said, it took 2.5 hours for this thing. And we are going to pick this up, and we're going to sacrifice our battle potions to have it in the top of our inventory. And that is what it looks like. The Crimson Key, that will open the chest and allow me to get the vampire knives. Then you bring it to the dungeon and open that crimson chest. You can find it in there. If you keep looking around, it'll be very easy to spot because it'll be red. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of today's video. If any questions, make sure you ask, and best of luck with your vampire knives. Ta-ta!